Hey guys, it's Mr. March, and we're back with Act 4, Scene 1 of A Midsummer Night's Dream. So, to kind of bring you up to speed, in Act 3, Scene 2, we saw all the action. We brought it up to the climax of the story. We almost had like a World War III type situation, and somehow everybody got confused and fell asleep on the ground in the woods. We covered this. I don't get it, but hey, that's your thing. Cool. So all four of the lovers are asleep near each other, um, and the fairies have taken care of fixing the potions over the eyes, all that sort of stuff. And now Titania walks in. Queen of the Fairies walks in with Bottom and the fairies who are serving and waiting on Bottom. Now Bottom loves this attention and this power. It's gone to his head. Um, he's commanding the fairies left and right. Hey, you fairy, scratch my head. Hey, you fairy, go kill a bee and get the honey from it, but don't let the pouch that the honey's in break and bring it back to me because I want some honey. You other fairy, scratch the other part of my head. I am really itchy. I, I must need to shave or something. I have got a crazy. And somehow, some way, he never looks at or realizes, he's got a snout or whatever, Cool. Doesn't realize it, but he's getting real itchy. And there's a couple of moments that basically just amount to Shakespeare making ass jokes. Titania is like, "Oh, sweetheart, would you like to hear some music? I can get any kind of music you want." And he's like, "Yeah, let's clang some things together and get like a triangle thing. That would sound great to me." And again, I think the joke here is Shakespeare thinks that that's what appeals to a donkey. Similarly, Titania's like, "What do you want to eat? I'll get you anything." And he's like, "I could go for a really full meal of oats and hay." Classic oats and hay. Doesn't anybody miss that? It was the best meal in my opinion, and so I want that now. And Bottom's like, finally, he's like, "Yeah, but anyways, get everybody away from me. I gotta lay down and go to sleep. I gotta get my beauty rest." Cool. Robin comes in and he sees Oberon watching this scene unfold from behind a tree. And Oberon is just loving it. We got he calls Robin over. He's like, "Get a load of this. Watch my wife just doting over this asshead." Unintentionally, my girlfriend pointed out to me that this is a political joke where donkey is the emblem of the Democratic Party and former President Obama was a Democrat. Completely unintentional. I just thought it was funny seeing him crack up and whatever. So Oberon's like, I almost feel bad for her trying to win over this ass face guy, putting a wreath of flowers on his hairy temples. Like, yeah. So I went over, I made fun of my wife because that's important in this situation. She was super docile. She gave me the Indian boy. So I sent the Indian boy off to fairyland so she can't get him back later. And now I'm going to go undo the spell. So I want you to go and fix that ass head, turn him back to normal. Make sure that when he does wake up, he goes back to Athens and just thinks it was a bad dream. So Oberon goes, fixes his wife, and Titania wakes up and she's just like, "Oh my God, sweetie, I got to tell you about this terrible dream I had. I thought I loved an ass. It was so scary. It felt so real." And Oberon's still laughing and points, and he's just like, "Well, he's right there." And Titania's like, "What? How did this happen? Oh my God, he's so gross." And oh, Oberon kind of sort of lets her in on the joke. And then he's like, "All right, enough of this. Robin, go fix that asshead. Titania, let's get some music going." And at this point, Oberon is willing to make up with his wife. He wants to make up with his wife. He wants to hear music and he wants to dance with his wife in the forest. Now, you could easily make a really good argument that Oberon is super childish and petulant in that he does not want to make up with his wife until he gets what he wants, until he gets his way. But that's just what it is. That's the nature of the situation. He got what he wanted. he pulled the spell off, and let's make up, and it's all romance and lovey kissy. So they start to dance, they're making up, they make plans to attend the Duke's wedding to Hippolyta, and they're going to bless the wedding, they're going to bless the couple. And at a certain point, Robin's like, hey guys, it's almost morning, so dawn's going to break. You guys, you might want to get out of here. And Oberon's like, yeah, you're right. Let's take a quick lap around the world. We'll come back later today for the wedding, but, we got these wings or transportation powers or whatever we got. Let's take a quick trip. And Titania's like, great, sounds good. While we're out there, you got to tell me about these 4 humans here, because I don't understand anything about this. He's like, don't worry about it, baby. I'll tell you on the way. So the fairies all leave the forest, and right around the same time, Theseus, the Duke, and Hippolyta, the Queen, and Aegeus and Philostrate and their whole crew, they come through for something called May Day, which is kind of like a fox hunt. And they come through to the forest, and they've got these horns blowing, and it's a very royal, regal type of situation. And as they come through, Theseus and Hippolyta, they're talking about the beautiful songs of the wild hounds of the forest and all this sort of stuff. And Aegeus looks over and sees his daughter Hermia laying right next to Lysander. And Aegeus is enraged. He's like, my daughter's asleep next to dirty Lysander. My guy Demetrius is here, and old Netter's daughter Helena. What the heck is going on? And Theseus, being very self-important, believes that they are here to celebrate and pay their respects for May Day. That's a great Jersey Shore joke, by the way. They're there to pay their respects, and they must have heard we'd be here, so they're just here to pay their respects. Wait a minute. Hey, Aegeus, isn't today your daughter's decision day? And we're going to take you all the way back to Act 1, Scene 1, where we find out about the decision that Hermia was going to have to make. So Hermia has 3 options here. Hermia, door number 1, she can be a nun. Door number 2, she can go die. Or door number 3, she can marry dirty Demetrius. I didn't mean to besmirch his character. I just meant that these people did not have great hygiene. This was 400 or 500 years ago. Not super clean people. So they could all be called dirty. It just kind of rolls off the tongue with Demetrius. So Theseus sees them, and he's like, isn't it the decision day? And there's this moment where Theseus goes, go get the huntsmen, have them blow the horns to wake these kids up. And it's a moment of excess. It's a moment where you see Theseus really acting in an extra manner. I absolutely could be wrong, but I always took it as Shakespeare kind of poking fun at rich people, or, the wealthy or the elites, in the sense that, like, you could just be like, hey, wake up, time to get up now. But instead you call for a bunch of dudes with horns to come and wait. It just seems excessive and unnecessary. But they come, they blow the horns. Theseus is like, yo, young people, what's going on here? Valentine's is past. Are you guys coupling up? What's the deal? And Lysander's like, what? Theseus is like, get up. Okay, you two. And he points to the 2 dudes, Lysander and Demetrius, like, you guys are rivals. Explain how you're hanging out in the woods, just asleep right by each other, and there's no problems anymore. And Lysander's like, Your Highness, I know I'm still half asleep, but I have no clue how I got here. But it is confession time, so I came to the woods with Hermia to run away from Athens. And Aegeus is so mad. He's like, you shut your mouth. Lord Theseus, that's a confession. You got to do your job. You got to punish him. He deserves to be killed for this. They would have run away. Demetrius, he was going to do you wrong. He was going to steal your wife, and he was going to steal my consent. And again, this idea of like the father's consent of whether their daughter can marry, it really makes Aegeus one of the bad guys of this story. So Aegeus finishes his rant, and Demetrius is like, Duke, sir, Helena told me about these escape plans, and I was mad, and I came out here and chased them, and Helena followed me, and I have no idea what happened next, but whatever power came over me, I feel nothing for Hermia anymore. It's like a memory of childhood, and all I have is love in my heart for Helena. And Theseus is like, okay, I've heard enough of all this. Um, you and you are getting married with us. So the situation we end up with is the right people are in love with the right people, and Theseus is like, "You're getting married with us. We're going to do a triple wedding today." Aegeus, I'm sorry, buddy, but I'm going to override you here, and we're not going to do the Athenian law thing. Come on, everybody, let's skip this hunt, and we'll see you guys back in town. And so Aegeus takes his wedding party, his crew, and presumably they have horses or some other sort of means of conveyance that they head back to the city. And it's like, okay, you two couples meet us back there. We're doing this later today. So then there's a moment where the four lovers stand around and they all have the same dream and memory of what happened, but they really feel that it was all a dream. They do not believe that what happened to them could have happened to them. It must have been a dream. While they're talking about it, they're like, all right, well, let's head back to the city. I don't know. I guess we're not going to figure this out. And then we're left with everyone is gone. The fairies are gone. Aegeus's wedding party is gone. And the four lovers have headed back to the city. And then you kind of get this zoom in on Bottom. And Bottom wakes up. And Bottom wakes up and he thinks that he's still in his rehearsal. He realizes that his crew, the workers or mechanicals, they're gone. And he also had the craziest dream. Now, the difference between Bottom handling this dream and everybody else handling this dream is he schemes of a brilliant idea. He's like, I know. Everyone needs to hear about this ridiculous dream. So I'm going to turn it into a song and add it to Pyramus and Thisbe when I perform at the Duke's wedding later tonight. And so Bottom kind of takes on a little bit of this type of affect. It's definitely a situation where if you had the opportunity to advise him, you should be like, you don't want to say that crazy nonsense. Nobody's going to believe you, and you're going to look like an idiot. But he doesn't have that friend. So Bottom heads back to town, and now everybody's gone from the forest. And that is the end of Act 4, Scene 1. So we'll pick this back up next time with Act 4, Scene 2. And that's all I got. Have a good day.